Hello, in this video I'm going to be unboxing the Fractal Design Define R3 computer case. This is the titanium grey edition. You can also get pure black and silver arrow, which is a very silvery finish. Mine is the metallic-y grey looking one. It should look very nice. It's like brushed aluminium finish, which I really love brushed aluminium. And for some reason it was cheaper than getting the pure black. The white, there is an Arctic white edition as well, which was actually more expensive, but for some reason this titanium one was cheaper than the black from www.scan.co.uk. Okay, so this is a ATX case with a stylish front panel with a noise insulated door. So this whole front panel hinges out and is also lined with a noise absorbing foam. It does look very nice. Most cases have lots of like 5 1/4 inch drive bays for like CD bays where you can put your CD drive or your card readers, and this has a pure black panel, but once you open it then it has all those in there. So it's very unique at being, it looks very neat and like businessy, which I really like in it. So it has Moduvent, which is something I should tell you about later. So you can choose optimal silence or optimal airflow. Noise absorbing material. It has 10 drive bays. It has 2 5 1/4 bays in the top here behind the door, and also 8 internal 2.5 or 3.5 inch hard disk bays. It's a sturdy overall case, so it's all made out of metal. There's nothing cheap. So the fans, the included ones is one front 120mm fan, and also one rear 120mm fan. So there's 2 120mm fans, one in the front and one at the back. Sorry. You can, however, have 2 front, 2 top, either 120 or 140. One rear 120, one side 120 or 40, and one bottom 120 or 40. Although if you have a large power supply, that one isn't possible because it blocks the power where the power supply should be. There's also one bottom intake for the PSU if you have a fan. There's also dust filters on all the intake fans that you will be able to have. So on this side there is nothing except it says it's designed in Sweden, which I always like. I like things that are designed in Sweden. For some reason they're always nice. On this side it just says which colour it is, so mine's the titanium grey from Scan, and again made in Sweden. So Fractal Design. Here is the Moduvent. It doesn't exactly tell you what it is, I'll tell you later. But basically the 2 top and the side, you can't see it in these pictures, the 2 top fans or fan vents and the side one have covers which you can cover them up with. This is the single USB 3 port one, which also has 2 USB 2. So this is the slightly more modern version. There was an older one with no USB 3. It doesn't say much about being quiet case here, but that's what the case is mainly designed for, is for looks and being quiet. The whole case is covered in a noise absorbing foam, which is really good at keeping it really quiet because it absorbs the noise the fans make and other things like hard drives and stuff. So it can have mini, micro and standard ATX, but no larger than that. It has 7 expansion slots, so these PCIe slots down there, which are all replaceable. They have like thumb screws to unscrew them. And Fractal Design, just telling you about what they believe in. So they're just stuff out of the trays. So here's what the case will look like. I'll get to that later. Opening, it has a very large opening for putting on coolers, and removable dust filters and anti-vibration pads for your PSU. Okay, so I've got my knife. I'm just going to, for some reason that's already undone. I'll undo there, and all the way down the top. Okay. So I'll need to put my phone down when I take this out. It's different packaging from what I've seen in other ones. In other unboxings I've seen cardboard with soft pack foam rather than this hard pack. So we have a little user manual here which doesn't really have much. It tells you a little bit about warranty, installation, and it's got a picture of how the case is assembled, just in case you fancy taking it apart, which I don't see why. Okay, so I'm just going to prop my phone up and I will take it out of the box. Sorry guys, for a second there I didn't think I could get in the case. It was because these tabs on the side of the case got lodged in here. Okay, so the case goes this way, and it has camera. It's got quite thick foam. There's my penknife, standard-ish size. Get a pencil. So it's about 1.5 inches. There's a pencil, so it's reasonably thick. So it's good padding if you want to, but it's not soft pack, which is slightly better. Okay, so I'll just quickly put my phone down again for a second. I'll just take this out. Okay, so I'll just try and take this off. Ooh, there's a loose thumb screw. I don't know how that come off. Hopefully all the other ones are there. Okay, so here is the case, and it looks very dark. I'll just peel off this front piece. Wow, it does look nice. I didn't know whether it'd look very nice, but that is really good. It's not a mirror finish, but it is really nice. Oh, I just got a static shock off there, which is strange. So it's magnetically attached door, which is nice. I'll go over the top. So we have the headphones and the microphone inputs, the power button with a power LED around it, and also there's a power LED here. There's two USB 2 ports and a USB 3. Here on the top we have two fan output or inputs if you want them, but they're not filtered. And these have the Modu vents attached, so you can see you can't actually, there's no holes in there, there's just plastic behind the grill. So you can remove that, and then you can have more fans if you need to. I'll just quickly take out these thumb screws. So this, the right hand side I suppose, doesn't have anything on, it's completely plain. Luckily the thumb screws aren't too difficult to remove. I'll just take this side off first, and I'll show you the foam. On here, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's not necessarily foam, but it is noise isolating. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It feels like a car interior, but it's just like padding. It's not too thick, it's about 2 millimeters thick, but this will, however, reduce noise slightly. So I'll just move this to the side. So on this side you've also got a 120 or 140 millimeter fan. I don't know, there you go, there's a fan there. Fan mount, sorry, there is no fan attached. So on this side there is also that material again, which is couple of millimeters thick to reduce noise, as well as on this. This is very thick foam, which I would have preferred to seal over the whole case, but I suppose it doesn't matter too much. So here is the mod vent. You can unscrew this from the outside and take this panel off, and then put either 120 or 140mm fan there. If you wish, you don't have to. It's completely optional. Just rotate this so you can see it slightly better. Quickly look at the back of the case. There is the 120mm fan, 2 water cooling grommets, although one has nicely fallen out. I have heard that these grommets do come out really easily, which they probably do if mine has come with it fallen out. I've put that back in. They're not that loose really. They're very flexible. I can put my fingers in and they bend back straight away. They are very nice. There's also 2 more down here. You can't see too well. There you go. So there's 2 more there. They don't fall out that easily actually. I can pull on them and they don't come out. You have white PCI slot covers, which are just they're like white accents. They do make it look stylish in some ways. It would be nice with black ones as well, but Fractal have this thing of having one colour with another colour as well, so having like an accented thing. There's also the bottom PSU mount there. On the back, I'll just get that out. You have several things. You've got a really big hole for your PSU, which also has a rubber, like, you can't see it very well in this video, there you go. It's got a rubber, like, thing, like you can pull it off if you want, but I don't see why you would. It's like a rubberized edge, so it's not a sharp edge, it's covered up by the rubber. On the back you don't have any mounts, which I would have liked to see, such as solid state disk drives. I've seen some where you can have a solid state disk drive attached to the back. You have quite a bit of space. I can fit my hands in this gap, so you do have plenty of space for putting cables. You've got one wire hole, grommet, 2, one here, another one here, and another one here, another one here. These are really high quality. They're not like they're not solid at all. They're completely flexible, bend back to shape, and they're quite rugged as well. So something else you can slightly see. If I open this, you'll be able to see it, hopefully. No, that doesn't make a difference. There, it's very difficult to get. There you go. Down the edge of it here, the whole side of this, there is like an intake. So the fan on the front, which is just here, can intake air fairly easily. Not as easily if it was completely open, but fairly easy. So there's thumb screws on this drive bay. I really need like a torch or something, but I don't have access to one. I know. I'm just going to put my phone down for a second. There you go. This will be a lot easier. So we have some thumb screws here, which are for attaching the hard drive. The CD drive or Blu-ray drives, if you have them. So you can see much better now. I should have done this earlier. All these grommets, which are perfectly flexible. They're quite sturdy as well. I can pull on them and they don't come out. So some people have been saying they do come out easily. The ones at the back may do. I have been pulling on them. They do come out if you pull them, but you're not going to necessarily pull on them deliberately. There's also one grommet up here I didn't point out, which for extra cabling. I'm assuming that's for like some fan mounts or stuff like that. Also, whilst the case is tipped over, you've got some silver rubberized feet. Not rubber, it's foam, sorry. And there's 4 of them, and there is a fan mount here, which is filtered as well, and there's also a filtered fan for your PSU. This bottom fan mount is a 120 or 140, but only if there is no PSU. If you have a large PSU, sorry, not if there's no PSU. If you have a large PSU, it can struggle to fit in. You might still be able to, but if you've got, I think it's got to be under 175 millimeters long, your PSU, then you can fit in a fan. Otherwise the fan mount gets obstructed. Also there is a gap at the bottom here. You can't see it very well, there you go. Which is also, I assume air will flow in there as well. I'm just going to lift the case up. Okay. So I'll just have a quick look at the front of the case. So on the front, you've got covers which are like removable covers. They're much easier to remove than most, as there you go. Yeah, because you don't have to fiddle around on the inside of the case. You literally just click this out and click it in, and it clicks in and out to remove it. And there's two of these. There's one, two. You can't see that well. Is he going to expose it properly? I don't know. Something else that's down here. There are two fan covers. These. Sorry, I need to get better light on this. I'm just going to tip this on its back, because I'm not happy with how this is going to turn out. Okay, so now we should get much better. Yeah, there you go. I need to sort out my lighting. There's two fan mounts. Both are 120, not 140, and both are both have filters. Sorry, so they will be filtered. They're quite nice, clicky. You just click it and it clicks out, and then click it and it clicks shut, which is really nice. There is also a reset button here, and I'll show you these again. They're just easy. You click out, they come out, and you put one end back in, and then push the other end and click it shut, and it just clicks shut. It just stays in place. The front also has foam about a centimetre thick, probably. And the door feels very sturdy. There's no flex in it. It wobbles a tiny bit, but I assume that's just because it's on its back. Oh, something else to point out. I'm just having to polish off my handprints. So I assume you shouldn't really be touching the front of this too much, because it does hold handprints. I probably have greasy hands. If you didn't, it wouldn't make too much of a difference, but that's interesting to point out. I didn't know whether it would do that or not, but it has, quite majorly actually. I suppose in a dark room you wouldn't notice, but try not to touch that too much then. Just put my phone down for a second. Okay. So we're on the inside of the case. So there is a 120mm fan here. There's another one just at the front here, you saw it earlier. There's these metal PCI covers. I didn't realise these were metal when I was looking at other reviews. But they are metal, and they're quite short actually. A hard disk will be about twice the length of that, I think. Hard disk will be about that long if you get a 3.5 inch. They're very nice though. They feel very sturdy. They're not at all flimsy. They're made of metal, so they're very rugged, which I like. I like this case because it sounded very nice. It looked really nice as well. But it was also a lot was made out of metal. So these are all metal and high quality finish. They're white, which is what they seem to like doing. So you can see again all these grommets around the outside, and your fan mount, which is a 3-pin. You have your PCIe covers, which are very tightly screwed in. I can't undo any of them by hand, but you can see what they are. They're all removable and replaceable. The previous case I was going for, which is a Zalman Z9 Plus, was cheaper than this, but there were things like these PCIe slots which I was disappointed with, as you had to snap the piece off and then you couldn't attach another one unless you had to buy an extra PCIe cover, then you could cover it up. So here we can see the bottom fan mount, which does have a 140 or 120mm fan option. You can either screw on 120 or clip on 140. It clips on with these, which I don't know how good that'll be, but I suppose it's quite simple. And that is also filtered. Here is the PSU mount. It's also filtered. There is a filters on the bottom I showed earlier, and there are rubber feet here and in all the corners, as well as this rim is coated in foam, which is compressible foam, so that will just add extra noise insulation, so the PSU will not be touching your case directly, it'll be like sitting on foam. So we can see the Modu vents at the top. There's again about a centimetre thick foam at the top to reduce noise, and the PCI, the 5 1/4 inch drive bays. Also, something I forgot to mention is all these drive bays are compatible with both hard drives, as you can screw in the sides and the bottoms, but also 2 1/4, 2.5 inch rather than 3.5 is a standard hard disk, but 2.5 is for an SSD, which is what I'll be using. So there's 8 of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's worth noting that they aren't. You can't remove this section or the bottom section. Some cases, I think, such as the HAF 912, I think, does have a removable middle section. If you don't want to be using those hard drive bays, you can remove them and have extra airflow. Although there is a lot of gaps, all these gaps down here, I can put my fingers in through there and got my fingers stuck. So there will be lots of air flowing over your hard disk drives or solid state, and that should be quite good. So there's quite a lot of inputs and outputs. One thing that I think is really good is the internal USB 3. I hated it when every case that was really high-end or mid-range or anything had a USB 3 on the front, and yes, it may have had 3 or 4 USB 3 ports, and that's really good, but you had to have silly wires poking out the back through water cooling grommets and going into the back of your inputs and outputs on your motherboard rather than internal. Internal just means it's so much tidier. You don't have to have cables sticking out the back, which I just think is horrible and untidy. So yeah, there are no mounted standoffs to the motherboard, which is a bit annoying if you wanted to have some already mounted, but there is a box here which I'll just open, which will have some extras. Wow, there's a lot of screws. Okay, so some interesting things here. Oh, I didn't realise it came with one of those. That's good. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little cable ties, zip ties, which is quite handy as you don't need to buy them. We have a massive bag with screws, thumb screws, Modu vent screws, and standoffs. I don't know how many you've got, plenty in there, and they're all black or gold for the standoffs, or brass or whatever. So they're black screws, which just makes it look nicer. All the screws in this are black. The only thing that's silver is the feet, which I don't think you'll be looking at very much. And you have white PCI covers and white drive bays. All the wires as well are coated in black. I don't really need to tell you what they are, what all these are. They're just inputs and outputs for power LEDs and stuff, and USB ports. So you have your screws. You also have an adapter for a 5.25 inch bay to be a smaller bay if you want the to have like a floppy drive, or you want a card reader, for example. That will fit in there. One thing that is good, and I didn't realise this came with it, I think this is a fan. Yeah, it is. It's a fan controller. You can put this in a PCI slot at the back, and it's just got one dial or one knob. You can just twist to adjust fans, and it's Molex in, and then there are 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are 3 fan. So it's a triple fan controller, so you can have 3 fans being controlled by this, and you probably could have more, as you could separately attach another Molex. You could have a splitter, as on the controller there is a single fan output, which is a 3-pin, but you could have a splitter, and then if you bought another splitter you could then split it into 6, or I'm assuming you could fit several, I'm not quite sure, but I assume you could. So you'll be able to adjust your fans with that, which is quite handy. And it's really good that it includes that, because fan controllers mean you can instantly change the noise your computer's making. If suddenly you realise it's hot, you can crank it up and cool it all down, or if you can't hear the fans, you can turn it up as much as you need to, so you can balance it as you need to. Okay, so that is, or has been, my video review, not review, but like unboxing of the titanium grey Fractal design Define R3 case with the USB 3. So I'll just show you again a quick look around the case. It has got its side panels on, but I showed you that earlier. It's a really nice door which doesn't wobble at all when it's sitting down. I pointed out earlier that it did. I take that back. When it's on the case it doesn't wobble, it's like very sturdy, and it's magnetic, so as you just saw, it closes by itself. If you leave it open, it does stay open, but if you like tap it shut, it will just clip and stay, which I just think is fantastic. It just looks really nice. It's not too big. I come up to here. There's me with my computer case, and it's not too big. It fits. It's a nice size. You can get the smaller version, which has a couple less features. And the bigger version, you can get the Define R3 XL, which is taller, I think. No, sorry, it's not the Define R3, it's just the Define XL, which looks similar but is taller and fits bigger motherboards, has more fans, larger fan mounts, and more drive bays and such. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment and subscribe if you've got any questions or stuff. Subscribe if you want more. I've got other videos. I've got one for the processor, which is my i5 3570K, my Corsair Vengeance low profile, 128GB SSD by Samsung, and the MSI Z77A GD55 motherboard. I will also have the Xigmatek Aegir cooler and the XFX XXX Edition 650-watt power supply. But I haven't received those yet, but hopefully tomorrow I'll be getting them, so you should see the videos when I upload this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and favourite this video if you really liked it. Anyway, see you in another video hopefully. Goodbye.